What is up, my friends? How are we? You are very welcome along to Sunday night's late night agenda. I hope that you're all enjoying your weekend thus far. So we do have a little bit of news around the Frimpong situation. Part 1 of the medical completed. So that kind of makes this comment from Jason seem a little bit unnecessary now. Frimpong, I believe it when I see it. Well, he's in Liverpool, mate, doing his medical, so you should believe it because it's happening. Clause triggered, first part of medical done, even squad number announced as number 30. So I think we can safely say, Jason, it's happening, my man. Enjoy it. So tonight we're going to go through, talk about Xavi Simons, Barcelona's interest once again in Luis Diaz, as that genuinely seems to be heating up a bit. We're going to talk about Darwin Núñez and Napoli. We're going to look ahead to Mark Gay and what might be, well, in his future. That and some information on Arne Slot getting added to a banner on the cup and lots of other interesting bits and pieces. And remember, the Reds in action tomorrow night. Not that you need to be reminded. And I'm very much looking forward to it. Sorry, I had a hair in my eye, ironically, since I don't have any on my head. So yeah, hope we're all in good spirits. Loads to get through tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm expecting a fun show. So do come in with good spirits. And let me know what you're thinking ahead of tomorrow. The preview went out yesterday, so if you had a chance to check that out, thank you. If you haven't, well, I hope that we can, I hope that we can figure it all out. Right, look, ladies and gents, it is a Surfshark Day, so just a really quick word from our incredible sponsors, and then we will get stuck straight into tonight's stream. So again, much thanks to our sponsor Surfshark. Here's a quick word from them, and I will be back then to get stuck into the news. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe from hackers. For example, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries, streaming services such as The Zone in Spain for those all-important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe if you use public Wi-Fi, such as a college or a cafe. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning that you can even share an account with friends and family. On top of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can even get your money back. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for just over €2 per month and up to 4 months free. Why not scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description to take advantage of this offer. Right, my friends, we are back, and as promised, let's get straight into the news. So, very interesting post from Fabrizio Romano, or should I say, very interesting response to a post from Fabrizio Romano. Let me talk you through it. You've probably seen this already. But Fabrizio Romano put up a post speaking about Jeremie Frimpong to Liverpool. And the post read, the Dutch right-back will formally seal the move to Liverpool next week on a 5-year contract set to be signed soon. But the really interesting part of this is, Liverpool also want a left-back this summer, with KERKEZ among options on the list. And almost as if coincidentally, there's Milos Kerkez on Instagram liking the post. So does that mean that Milos Kerkez is going to be arriving at Liverpool? Well, it would certainly be very strange if he wasn't. There's been so much interaction with him with Liverpool social media posts over the last month or so that you'd have to kind of take it as a big indication that surely Kerkez fancies the idea of a move to Anfield. I'm sure this post hasn't escaped your notice as well. Liverpool, nothing gets past Liverpool fans on social media, folks. Nothing. We're all over everything, and very quickly people were noticing that it was liked and frustrating the stream. So I'm just going to wait for this glitch to finish. Every single stream now at the start of it, YouTube seemed to be playing silly beggars. There we go. We're back. Yeah, we are back. So apologies to everybody. Again, not an internet thing with me. It's a YouTube thing, and it's extremely frustrating, but I do apologise. We're back now. Yeah, look, it'd be very weird if KERKEZ was going around liking all these posts for no reason, wouldn't it? I knew it did freeze because I could see on my end that it was getting the spinny wheel of death, or whatever you'd like to call it. So look, just refresh it, and then when we're back, we'll get stuck into it again. I don't know what's happened. In the last week, for the first 5-10 minutes of any stream, there's a little glitch like that at the start of it, and then it goes back to being normal. So anyway, apologies to everybody for that. Let's talk about where do we talk? So much to go through. Let's talk of some good news. Let's talk about some good news. So, according to James Pearce, Arne Slot is set to be added to the banner of iconic Liverpool managers that is displayed at Anfield for next season. So a very welcome addition to that one. And again, well done to the Liverpool fans and everybody for sorting that one out and for James Pearson reporting it. So yes, Arne Slot will be added to that iconic banner of Liverpool great managers. And as he should be, he's just delivered a league title. Right, let's keep cracking. I've gone back and forth about whether I should have spoken about this, but Trent's cousin was posting on social media, and I don't know if you have seen this or not, but basically, there was a post saying that Liverpool fans are embarrassing, reporting saying stop always acting like victims, and then his cousin liked the post about us acting like victims, and then not only that, but then went on to slag somebody off about being poor for living on Breck Road. I mean, it's just tasteless, isn't it, at this point? Like, I don't even know what to say, but I'm just genuinely fed up of the whole situation overriding the good points of the season for us here. So the sooner the better he disappears and takes his little summer of 66 nonsense with him, the sooner we can all get back to enjoying our lives. But it's just not a great look. Like, how do you go slagging somebody for being poor? Especially when what have you yourself done to be significant? I don't really understand it. It's just petty. It's just silly. Troy said, Fabrizio replied in the comments, left back, here we go next. Oh, hello. We love that. We do love that, my man. Hopefully. It would be great to get that news. Right, let's have a talk about Ryan Cherky, actually, for a minute, if I can. So, Get French Football News have reported that Ryan Cherky has announced his intention to leave Lyon this summer. But what we're not sure is where's going to be his destination. Apparently, he wants to come to Liverpool. That's being posted by quite a few people. But Spurs are in the mix as well for Cherky. So, keep an eye on that situation. I honestly don't know where he's likely to end up. Ben Jacobs gave another nice bit of insight into how long we've been tracking and trying to make a move for Jeremie Frimpong. Ben Jacobs posted to say, understand Liverpool first approached Frimpong last summer, but Xavi Alonso persuaded him to stay for another season. Frimpong was sold on Liverpool even before Trent Alexander-Arnold's future was clear. He spoke directly with Arne Slot more recently as well. Now, what makes this fascinating for me is we know that Conor Bradley has just signed a new contract at the club, and reports far and wide suggest that he is going to be the number one right back for next season. So it'll be interesting to see what the manager's thought process is on how he utilises Jeremie Frimpong. It's going to be exciting times, and look, I'm all for it. May the signings continue. This is a great way to kick off the window. David, how are you, my man? Said, Craig, I prefer the summer of '84. Same. Yeah, summer of '84, definitely better. The Bradley summers, we're going to call it. And by the way, for anyone who did see this Trent summer of '66 stuff, just want to make one thing clear. The club didn't pay for it. Trent himself paid for it. And according to James Pearce, this isn't unusual for a senior player leaving the football club to put on a bit of a thank you for staff and teammates and families and whatnot. So just to make that one part clear. Muckrab said, Craig, my brother works as a train guard manager, and on parade day he's getting paid to be at the parade before everybody gets the train home. Nice. Happy days for your brother. Nice to be getting paid to be at the parade. Well played. Hope he enjoys it, and I hope everybody enjoys it. Corbin said, don't think you're getting this day off for a while. That's okay. It's not work, mate, as I keep saying. To come on and chat about Liverpool with everybody is not work. It's fun. So I don't mind having no days off, dude. It's all good. I'll be taking some time off next weekend because I'll be in Liverpool. Obviously, we've got the show next Sunday coming up at the Hot Water, so cannot wait for that one. But yeah, man, it's fun to be on here chatting with you all. So look, we've no real update on the Florian Wirtz situation at the minute, but what we do know is the Mirror reporting that Florian Wirtz has already spoken with Arne Slot directly about a potential move to Liverpool. So we'll wait and see how this one pans out over the next few days. It's exciting, but I also don't want to get ahead of myself here. Xavi Simons, we'll be talking a little bit about him in a while as well. Let's all just take a second once again to laugh at Mikel Arteta, because I know we never get enough of this. So Mikel Arteta on why Arsenal didn't beat Liverpool to the title this season. Red cards and injuries, for sure. I don't even know what to say anymore about Arteta and Arsenal. The injuries happened because, you overplayed a lot of players, Mikel. And also red cards, that's tough shit. You don't just get red cards randomly. You get red cards for, fouling people, getting sent off. It's just one excuse after another. A hat-trick of runners-up. There you go, Mikel. You've got a treble now. A hat-trick of runners-up spots. Good goal, by the way, from Declan Rice today, in fairness. Great strike from him against Newcastle. I'm sure you've seen it. Hugh Anderson, how are you, bro? Said, apologies, I've already discussed Craig has not managed to get on here this week, but thoughts on Núñez to Napoli and Osimhen to Liverpool in the swap deal? I don't see the second part at all, in all honesty, Hugh. I don't. I'll take that one back down for a sec. I don't want Osimhen at Liverpool personally. But the first part of it, we do have some information on that's come in today. So this one said, things are looking positive for Napoli on the Darwin Núñez front. Jonathan David is proving to be more expensive than expected, apparently, even though he would be on a free. Looks like he's asking for too much of a signing-on bonus for Napoli and his wages are too high. But this piece here says Núñez is intrigued by the project and has tempting offers from Saudi. He'll issue a response in the coming days on his future. So, look, for me, from a Liverpool perspective, I just want Liverpool to get the most money possible. Same for any player departing the club. But yeah, I just don't see Osimhen as a fit for Liverpool. But again, that's just my opinion. I can't sit here and say definitively 100% he's not of interest because I just don't know. Elusive Glue. Jeff, how are you, my man? Craig, I'm poor, but I've a heart full of love. Love you and love to you and the family. Mate, thank you. You're so kind. Honestly, mate, I appreciate the love. I really do. And yeah, man, thank you for your support over the years. Right, a little bit of an announcement. Today was the day. We finally did it. What am I talking about? 10 million views in a month. Today was the day we hit the number, the magic number that we thought we'd never, ever, ever, ever get. 10 million views in a month because of your incredible support. So thank you so much for that. Today was the day, and ironically, it's my mother-in-law's birthday, and we hit 10 million views in 1 month, which is just sensational. So thank you all for that. Right, let's keep going. Paul Joyce confirming that Jeremie Frimpong underwent his medical today as Liverpool look to seal that deal. We've already informed Leverkusen, obviously, that the release clause is going to be triggered. But an interesting bit from Graham Bailey. So Graham Bailey said that in the background, Liverpool did a lot of checks on Jeremie Frimpong over the last few months. And interestingly, they've done similar investigations on Xavi Simons. Now, I can't be the only person who is unsure about the potential of Xavi Simons at Liverpool. I don't know. It just doesn't excite me. And I don't know if I'm doing the lad a disservice. I don't know if I may be put off by the potential €70 million price tag. But I'd love to get your feedback. So let's have that as the first poll tonight, if I can, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go with this one. Would you be happy if we sign Xavi Simons? So just straightforward yes or no. Would you be happy if we sign Xavi Simons? Now remember, the price tag is believed to be about €70 million. For me, doesn't excite me, but again, like I said, if he's who Arna wants, then I'm absolutely behind the manager and whoever he wants to bring in. Alex Macklin said Arteta always talks rubbish. He does, but hey ho, it is what it is. Another season without a trophy, and I guess he's got to try and play to the fan base and try to make everybody feel a little bit better about it. Imagine how Spurs end up winning a trophy this season and getting themselves into the Champions League. I'd say that'll sting a little bit in North London, but again, I think United win that Europa League final. Keith, how are you, my friend? You think Liverpool will make a move for KERKEZ next week? It feels like it, Keith, doesn't it? Like, it does feel like it would be really, really weird if all of these interactions from KERKEZ just were for no reason. Surely there has to be conversations going on about him at this point. Right back is sorted out, whether it's Frimpong or Bradley. Boxed off, done, perfect. New contract for Bradley and Jeremie Frimpong being brought in. Happy days there. But on the left side, yeah, for me, anybody other than KERKEZ, Keith, was always going to feel like not the number one target. So I don't know if KERKEZ is trying to wish this into existence or if it's further along than maybe any of us know. But it definitely does feel like KERKEZ is angling for a move to Liverpool. It's not a coincidence. There's way too many posts that he's liking. Sean Lester said, "You deserve it, Craig." Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Honestly, it's a staggering number. So just to give you an indication of quite what a difference it was, we used to do about 3.5, 4 million views a month. And then obviously with our shorts game stepping up as well, that's gone to 10 million. And I don't even know how to react to stuff like that. It's incredible. Craig is the kindest heart. Hope you're keeping well. Thank you, Adam. Look, I am a normal dude, same as everybody else, and I'm just very grateful for the support I get. I see a few people are having a dig at me about my Darwin Núñez short when I was saying basically that he spat in the face of the club. And again, I don't understand some of the fanboys who put player ahead of club and saying that we should just support Darwin Núñez and he didn't do anything wrong. And I just can't get my head past that. Of course he did something wrong. He accused the club of not playing him over money. And if people want to side with a player who's leaving over the club with that, fair. That's up to you. But for me, club first always. The legend. How are you, my Arsenal supporting friend? Good evening. So we got the treble, 3 seconds. Honestly, mate, I can feel your pain, genuinely. Like, we've been in a position as a Liverpool fan where we've put up ridiculous points tallies and had nothing to show for it with regard to the league. So I do feel your pain as much as I'm also kind of enjoying seeing Arteta's excuse making, but I do always appreciate you being a good sport. Stevie boy, Liverpool go and get Alvarez. The goal he scored today. Wow. Yeah, he scored a brace, didn't he, in that game today? At least last time I checked, he'd scored a brace. I've nothing new to suggest anything on Alvarez, Stevie boy. Like you, mate, I'm very much hoping. But look, put it this way. The names we're being linked with are quite exciting. Whether you're talking Alvarez, whether you're talking Wirtz, a lot of people will probably be excited by Simon. Some people excited by the likes of Cherky. What I'm confused about is the centre-back situation. I really would like some clarity on this one because, you know, if we got the here we go on a new deal for Canade right now, I'd be a very, very, very happy Liverpool fan. Muckrab said, Simons is a prima donna who buys way too much of his own PR. Look, I don't watch all that much of him playing for Leverkusen, or Leipzig, excuse me. I've seen a few bits and pieces of him in the Dutch national team, and look, he wouldn't be my own preference, but if it's who Arne wants, then I'm all for it. But I would say this as well. I don't like the idea of having too many of any one national team in our squad. I don't want us to go down the whole Erik ten Hag route when he was at Manchester United, bringing in Dutch player after Dutch player after Dutch player, although the calibre of Dutch player we're bringing in is certainly higher than the ones he was bringing in. But again, for me, I'm just willing to go with whatever the manager wants. Ultimately, he's going to make these decisions along with the club, and I'll welcome the players into Liverpool Football Club, whomever they are. Has the club stated that he's completed his medical? No, but the club never state that a player has completed his medical. But you've got multiple journalists from Paul Joyce to Romano to Dave O.C. Kopp, who I think was one of the first to post about it. It's a medical, at least part of it. Now, I don't know if all of the medical's been completed, but he is doing the medical and part of it has been done, or all of it has been done. So don't worry about it. Release clause triggered, medical taking place. We're very far along in this process, and we will get, I'm sure, an announcement in the next few days. Stiller going to Madrid. That's probably a good thing. I mean, that would mean maybe if he goes there, they'll go away from Alexis McAllister in the future, hopefully. I haven't really been keeping too much tabs on Angelo Stiller, where he's likely to go. But if it's Madrid, it's Madrid. You know, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Xabi Alonso look into the Bundesliga there for a player that he knows, you know, having been in the Bundesliga himself as a coach. There was this mad story somebody put up to say that Alonso left Madrid when he was playing with Modric, went, coached Sociedad's youth team, went over then, became Leverkusen coach, even played at Bayern, comes back, and Modric still at the club. What a career Luka Modric has had. Like, for all my dislike of Madrid, and there is lots, I gotta say, what a career for Luka Modric. What a player. James, thank you. Appreciate you, my man. But no need to congratulate me. Congratulate us, because it's our community. We did it together. Wondering where all the Verts news has gone. Also love the streams. I think it's going to come down to him just making that decision, FIFA, on whether he wants to stay in Germany or try and adventure elsewhere. I would say we're very well placed if he decides not to stay in Germany. But I can't sit here and tell you with good conscience that I know one way or the other where he's leaning. Bayern Munich feel very, very confident on it. They have been the entire way through the process. Liverpool apparently have come strong later in the process. But again, I got to point to the reports that say Liverpool believe he will stay in Germany. So if he does, then it will most likely be a Bayern Munich move. But if he doesn't, well, we know he's spoken with Arne Slot. So hopefully he comes to Liverpool. I mean, I'd love that to be the case. Especially when you're looking at the forward options, right? Let's talk Hugo Ekitike for a little while. This piece here from Sky Sports Germany said, Frankfurt expect a departure of Hugo and Liverpool are monitoring the player. But the price tag would have to be realistic. The price tag couldn't stay as high as it was, around €100 million. There's just no value in that for Liverpool or anybody. You know, that means they've put him up about €85 million since he's gone there to Frankfurt. Now, they've just qualified for the Champions League, so, you know, maybe there's a possibility if they don't get the money, they're happy to keep him. I just don't know. I couldn't sit here now and say who I think the likely forward addition is going to be. And that's been thrown up in the air a little bit more by this news coming from Barcelona. So this report here, LFC Transfer Room posted it and credited, what's this dude's name? Alfred Martinez. They say Barcelona sporting director Deco wants to sign Luis Diaz as a priority. He's Deco's top target for the summer, and the asking price is around £67 million, but his wages are considered manageable. Diaz fits the profile that the club is after. So this kind of went quiet for a while, and now it started to come back again. 67 million, look, the number sounds realistic. You know, £67 million, €80 million. I could see that being a number that Liverpool may be willing to do business at. But what I don't know is what the plan is. Some reports suggesting that Liverpool are looking to agree an extension. We know that Diaz has said he's happy, loves the club, you know, hasn't regretted it coming here. So I don't know where all this is coming from. But again, it's difficult to speak about incomings while we have some of these uncertainties. Uncertainty around which other forward is going to move on along with Darwin, and it looks like there may be one. Chiesa, we think we have a resolution on his future and that he's going to stay. That's great news. Centre-back situation, you know, we've lost Ian Huijsen to Real Madrid. That's done and dusted. We don't know what's happening with Ibrahim Konate. So, yeah, look, full-back positions looking close to being boxed off, but we do need to figure out centre-back, what's happening in midfield, and of course then who the target is up top. And on that, some reports today as well around, what's the dude's name? Benjamin Sesko said that all the Premier League clubs and everybody who's looking at Sesko are being put off by the price tag and nobody thinks that there's value in it. And they listed Liverpool, Arsenal and another club in that as well. So I can believe that as well. You know, looking at it, Leipzig finished outside the European places this year. And if they're looking for 85 million for Sesko, I don't blame the Premier League clubs for maybe looking at that and thinking, just no value in it. It feels like some of the asking prices are just plain ridiculous. And we know Liverpool love a release clause. You know, we brought in McAllister, release clause. We brought in Frimpong, release clause. We brought in Szoboszlai, release clause, where it kind of takes away the negotiation to some extent, unless you're negotiating the structure of it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Liverpool have any interest in these high transfer target players who are unproven to some extent. Like, I think it would be far better money spent if you were to spend 100 million odd on the likes of a Florian Wirtz, Isak, again, can't see him leaving Newcastle. Was unfit today, by the way, in what was a very important game for Newcastle. And that can't go undiscussed here. Because, if we brought him in, and this is the business end of the season, and it was the business end for Newcastle, they need points to make sure they get that Champions League spot, and he wasn't available for them. I think it was a groin injury today, if I'm not mistaken, but that's not much use, at this point of the season. So that's why I would say the value's not there with Isak. Incredible goal scorer, but can you depend on him? Probably not. Craig, did you see Chiesa? Did I say Chiesa is staying? Hope so. Yeah. Let me read this out to you, my friend. You don't even have to take my word for it. You can take the manager's word for it. So bear with me and I will read this out to you. So this was from Friday's press conference, but this was the embargoed section that only came out late that night. So Lewis Steele reported a little bit more from Arne Slot's press conference on Federico Chiesa. Does he have a future here, Arne said? Yes, definitely he has. Yes, definitely. And I didn't add in words there, by the way. He said, yes, definitely has. Yes, definitely. I think everyone playing for us over here has a future over here. Next season, if he comes back completely fit, which he has hardly been for the first half of the season, then afterwards he became fitter and fitter. The next steps would have been playing time, which I couldn't give him, but I can give him playing time in pre-season so he can build himself up to go even further. So, manager's words saying, yes, he definitely has a future here, definitely. Which is great news. Genuinely, I think we're all happy with that, as long as he sticks to what he said, and as long as he gives him these opportunities. Because now we've got multiple options on the right, from none to multiple. If you've got him there, you've got Frimpong as an option, you've got Salah as an option. At the moment, plenty of options on the left. If somebody leaves, we'll have to address that. And then you've got players like Chiesa who can play centrally. So it's interesting. And I know this is a cheesy phrase and we all hate hearing it, but he would be like a new signing. But we still need a new signing because, of course, that squad place was already taken up. But if he's being utilised next season, that would be very good news. The legend said, my mum's fiance supports United and we'll both be watching the Europa League final with a few beers hiding behind a pillow, obviously for different reasons. I can't see anything other than United winning that Europa League final. I just think, as bad as the season's been for them, Fernandes will pull something out and they'll get over the line. I just think their pedigree will be enough there for United. But it's been such a bad season. I mean, somebody sent me this just before we went live. And Manchester United have only won 9 points in the Premier League in the last 5 months. Let that sit for a second. Manchester United have won 9 points in the Premier League in the last 5 months. 5 months. That's shocking. Right, let's check back in on our poll. So the question was, would you be happy if we sign Xavi Simons? And it's been close, but we've got, do we have 1,500 votes on it? Yes, we do. So 58% of you guys and girls said no, you would not be happy if we signed Jeremie Frimpong. No, that's not what he said. He said at all. You would not be happy if we signed Xavi Simons. Excuse me. My apologies. Xavi Simons. Definitely not Frimpong. We're all happy with Frimpong. So yeah, Xavi Simons. Let me repeat the process with Cherki. Let me repeat the process with Cherki and see how you guys feel about that one. By the way, I love this. I love getting an understanding of how you guys feel about potential players or what's developing at Liverpool Football Club. Because remember, my job is to give you my opinion, but it's also to represent your opinion. So let me ask the Cherki one. So would you be happy if we sign Cherki? Would you be happy if we sign Cherki? So we'll check back in on this one. So Simons is a no. So Liverpool, our Liverpool community, most of them wanted a no for Simons. So we can push him off to the side and say, not a huge appetite at the minute for that one. Mamiji said, Fabrizio said the next here we go is a left back. Nice. Nice. We like that. Ali Abdallah Ali said Paul Cherky Simons. We'll just do Cherky first to see. Because then if people say yes, they'd want Cherky, well then we know that he would have beaten Simons because more people did want Simons. But I got you, bro. I got you. Tyree said I'm actually supporting Spurs for once. Nice. Cherky's pure class and quality, said Gareth. Appreciate that. And look, folks, do drop a like for me on the stream if you can. And I would love you to hit that subscribe button. It's great to have you all in. We've got, what, 3,300 people in this evening. Again, thank you so much for your support. We are here to represent your opinion, so do make sure you have your say. Mark Palmer said, we can get Cherky, cheap. Show my age there. We can, but again, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you look what we paid for Alexis McAllister. That's cheap, good money. What we paid for Mohamed Salah looks like absolutely ridiculous money. We've just signed Jeremie Frimpong, or excuse me, we've just agreed to sign Jeremie Frimpong at £30 million. So yeah, sometimes cheap is good, you know. Mike Johnson said, I worry Wirtz is like Havertz was. I think he's far more creative than Havertz. But I do get your opinion. I don't know if you were around watching long enough, mate, but there was a time a while back where when they were losing Havertz, and I'll never find this exact stream, but I said many times that when I spoke to some Leverkusen fans about it, they weren't bothered losing Havertz because they were so believing in Wirtz coming through that they knew they had a baller coming through. So losing Havertz wasn't really something that they were too concerned with. But make no mistake about this as well. Leverkusen would far rather sell him outside of the Bundesliga for a couple of reasons. One, they'll probably get more money. And also, they're not going to strengthen a rival. And these days, they look at Bayern as that direct rival. Obviously, second this year to Bayern in the Bundesliga. They beat them to the title last year. So I'm hoping that between that and the fact that Liverpool have made a strong play, that maybe he does look at it and think, yeah, let's get ourselves over to Anfield and play in the Premier League. Off the post, how are you? Is Osimhen more trouble than he's worth? He's just one of those players I've never been sold on. And this is like got nothing to do with us being linked to them or not. I've been talking about Osimhen for a few years and that I just don't get the hype. You know, but the numbers he's done in Serie A spoke for themselves. I haven't really followed him at Galatasaray, but from what I can gather, he's doing decent there as well. Just not for me. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something about him that just doesn't excite me. And I kind of feel that way about Ekitike as well, but I think that's more because I'm more ignorant to Hugo Ekitike and I haven't seen enough of him. I would certainly have watched Osimhen more over the years than Hugo. Hi, dude. Hope you and all the family are good. Even if Ibu stays, we still need a centre-back. Any ideas? Gay, maybe. I would agree, 100%. For me, we need one centre-back right now, and we need two if we lose one. So, Cal, I'm right with you. On Mark Gay, you're not going to believe what I'm about to read out to you, my man. Because when I read it out earlier on, I thought, oh, here we go again. So, don't know what that noise was there. From the Mail... this piece said, Crystal Palace captain Mark Gay is ready to run down his contract in a bid to move to either Real Madrid or Barcelona for free next summer. Now, what I cannot sit here and say at all is, do they have any interest in signing Mark Gay? Haven't got a clue. But is this going to become a new common thing? That players are going to start just refusing any contract extensions from 2 years out and plan to swan off and get a Bosman over to play for Barcelona or Real Madrid. I can only imagine if that is the case, and again, the Mail printed it, so I don't know if it is or isn't, but if that is the case, I can imagine that their chairman, Steve Parish, is not going to be very happy about that. Obviously, they just won the FA Cup. They're going to be in Europe, and although I'm sure he doesn't want to lose Mark Gay, if they did, he would have wanted a transfer fee for him, so let's wait and see what happens with that one. For Liverpool, right now, trying to figure out what do we need. Do we need a left-sided centre-back or a right-sided centre-back? And I would argue right now we need a left-sided centre-back. We need that cover for Virgil. But if Canade moves on, then we need a starting right centre-back. So who that is, your guess is as good as mine. And that's before we even get into the Joe Gomez, Jarell Quansah future conversations. So this could be a very, very, very hectic and busy summer transfer window for Liverpool with ins and outs. Sean Lester said, it's player power. It is, but football clubs will have to respond to it. You know, you can't, like, if you're a football club and you bring in a player for a substantial transfer fee for 4 years, and 2 years out they start running that down, you're going to start thinking long and hard about how this transfer market malarkey works, and you're only going to start signing players on 5 or 6 year deals or refusing to sign them. Because you don't want these situations. If you invest money into a player, particularly a younger player, and I mean a substantial fee, you're going to want to recoup some of that if they ever do decide that they fancy another chapter in their career. So I can see a change in the way clubs go about the transfer market. 5 year contracts are probably going to be the minimum at this point. Clubs are going to be willing to get. I think Frimpong's coming in a 5 year deal to Liverpool, so there you go on that one. Kev Parker, how are you, my friend? Craig, people asking where Wirtz would play, where our current number 8 plays. It's called competition. We have 5 subs, so it's not like they both can't get game time. Look, he could do that, or he could operate as a false 9. He could play the Bobby Firmino type role. You'd have to ask Arne Slot what the plan would be with him. Because we can all sit here, as you said, Kevin, argue about would he be a replacement for Szoboszlai? Would it be competition for Szoboszlai? Would he operate behind a striker? Would he operate in a wide position? Truth is, I don't know. I can tell you where he could operate, but let's just say that if we are in for him, assume that Arne has a plan of exactly how he wants to utilise him, because you're not going to drop that much dough on somebody unless you know exactly where you want them to play and how you see them in your squad. I would guess, and again, this is a guess, if we spent that much money, then I would expect far less to be spent on an attacker, which is maybe where the interest in João Pedro comes back into it. He's valued at about 30 million according to reports yesterday, which is a long way from the 100-odd million that was spoken about earlier on in the season. So if you were to drop a load of dough on Wirtz, then maybe yes, somebody of that 30, 35 million pound bracket as a striker may be more likely. Maybe you then put your eggs in a Jonathan David on a free basket. Again, I'm not saying these are the ideal strikers for Liverpool Football Club, but there would probably have to be some give and take there. You couldn't spend 35 million on Frimpong, and remember, we're not going to, or 30 million pound, we're not going to bring in any money at right back because Trent's gone. So you're bringing in Frimpong, you're probably going to have to spend at left back, and you're probably going to have to add money on top of what you're going to get for Costas by about 20-odd million, 25 million. So then you've got that situation with money. And if you're going to spend money on the likes of a Wirtz at about, again, over 100 million, surely something has to give somewhere. You're not going to then go out and drop 120 million on the Julian Alvarez unless John's lost his mind and we're all in shell shock, because I would be. I'd be happy with it, but again, these are FSG as our owners that we're talking about. Caoimhín Kelleher. Interesting development potentially there, as another club has declared their interest in Kelleher according to reports. Who that club is? Aston Villa. Emi Martinez looks like he's going to be departing this summer. Various reports have been saying that. And if you look, he looks a little bit emotional. So are we going to see Emi leave and Aston Villa come in for Kelleher? I feel like I say this about every club linked with Kelleher now, but that would be a really good move for Kelleher. If he could get himself to Aston Villa and establish himself as a number 1 there, incredible. I know this is a bit petty and selfish of me, but did you see the video of the guys celebrating in Dubai with Salah and all dancing? I couldn't help but get emotional seeing the tricolour there as an Irishman, obviously representing Caoimhín Kelleher and that, but seeing the Irish flag flying in those Dubai party scenes hit me right in the feels. You don't really see the Irish flag too much these days because there hasn't been as many Irish players at Liverpool as I would have liked. Kevin Marshall, keep up the great work. Thank you, my man. Again, appreciate all of your support. I always find it funny though when I read through some of the comments on the videos and people going, yeah, this is why Craig falls out with everyone in the industry because he's too sensitive and everybody hates him. And I'm just thinking, then why the fuck are you here watching the videos and commenting? If I'm such a horrible person that nobody likes, why are you here wasting your time with me? Go do something that makes you smile. But I appreciate it, my man. Thank you. I can't wait to get over to Liverpool. Cannot wait. 1 week. 1 week today. Right now, this time next week, I will be on stage at the Hot Water Comedy Club and having a good time with everybody. So if you're going to come and see us, do get your tickets. You can use the QR code on the screen or the link in the description. And we're there 3 days later as well on the 28th. Right. Hope you're well. I am, thank you. Big week ahead and see you on the 28th. Thank you, Adam. Looking forward to meeting you, my man. Premier League trophy is getting ready to be packed upstairs as we speak to be brought over. And yeah, I can't wait. Starting to put the show together now in my head, starting to write it all down and looking forward to coming over and celebrating. And that's what this is going to be. One big celebration of what has been a tremendous season. I've loved seeing some of the edits and stuff that Liverpool fans have been making about the predictions at the start of the season from pundits and other fan channels and other fans about Liverpool being 4th, 5th, 6th, and then Liverpool romping to the league title. But you know what? I totally get it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, look at all these arseholes writing us off. I didn't think we were going to win the league this year, and I don't think many of us really did. So that just speaks to the incredible job that Arne has done since he's come in. And actually, if you look back at a lot of those early takes, it was that change of manager and, you know, filling the big shoes of Jurgen that was one of the reasons for many of the pundits writing off Liverpool's chances, which again is understandable. You don't know what to expect from a new coach, especially when they're coming in after somebody as huge as Jurgen Klopp. Osimhen did well against Liverpool. Why unconvincing? It's just my opinion. You know, I'm not saying I'm right on this one, Raphael. It's just an opinion I have. I've never rated him. I just don't see him as dynamic enough in the way that we'd like to play. If he was, you know, going to a different at United, let's say, I think Osimhen would be a far better fit in the way Ruben Amorim's system is. I don't see him at Liverpool. It just doesn't convince me. But Raphael, what I'll say, mate, is if the manager wants him, I'll welcome him in with open arms. You know, I'm not going to sit here and throw my toys out of the pram about a signing. I very much said I want who the manager wants, and I want us to go into the season with the manager happy with the squad. So if it's Osimhen, mate, I will be making a welcome to Liverpool Football Club video, I promise you. Michael said, thank you for everything you do for the Liverpool fans. I don't do anything, mate. You don't need to thank me. You guys do all the work. You know, without you, there isn't any show. Without you, there isn't any community. So please don't thank me for anything. There's no need to. And I'm looking forward to meeting you as well on the 28th, mate. Thank you. My wife, my daughter are going to be over with me for that show as well on the 28th. So you'll get to meet most of the Houlden clan. Our son's staying here because obviously he has school. So, shirt number, yes, Mark. It looks like Frimpong's going to wear number 30 at Liverpool Football Club. That is the report from Dave O.C. Kopp, who has got a few exclusive lately, in fairness to him. So he said, Justin, Jeremie Frimpong is expected to take the number 30 shirt at Liverpool Football Club. Which I believe, 30 and 12 are his two numbers, aren't they, that he wears for Leverkusen and the Netherlands? Fitz, I didn't. No, I didn't, mate. And do you know what? I was thinking about that last night. I haven't seen it yet. So if anybody, if Mark or anyone can screenshot me that and Mark can send it to me in WhatsApp, I haven't seen it. I've seen Max Erbel talking about he's free to visit friends in Liverpool or Manchester. That's the only thing I've seen, mate. So I know you mentioned it to me yesterday, but I still haven't seen it. Number 30 is my house number, said Sean. No, there you go. I grew up in number 13. My grandmother lived in a number 13. My first time moving out of home to a house, I lived in number 13. Even now, there's number 3 in my address, so. Craig, why has Bradley only signed a 4-year deal, a bit like Trent did? Yeah, Dave, that was not lost on me, mate, when I seen it yesterday. Truth is, I don't know the answer to it. I don't know if the conversation was that the club made the 4-year offer or if it was Bradley's camp. I haven't got a clue who chose 4 years, but I did, like your good self, it did strike me when I seen that he signed a 4-year deal. But I don't know, Dave. I don't know, but I wouldn't be worrying about him running down his deal just yet. 4 years to go from now, we'd have a fair idea of where he's at. And look, I think You know, he's an Irish boy, don't forget, or a Northern Irish boy. So Liverpool Football Club would be far closer to his heart than maybe the likes of Madrid or Barcelona. Plus, Trent to be over there, won't he, for the next 10 years anyway, winning Ballon d'Ors and, you know, doing Trenty things. Kev said, strongly disagree. It's you that makes the show. We might comment, but you bring it all to life and don't take it like it's nothing. Not everyone can be so engaging. Look, I don't know, man. It's probably because I'm so appreciative of having people to interact with every day. Look, I've always said this. I think my biggest plus point is my Irishness. You know, we're wafflers. We're able to talk and hold the conversation, and we love swearing. And I think the key to doing what you do on here has to be a few things. Yeah, you do have to be somewhat engaging, charming, but I think self-deprecation is an important part of what I do and what we do. I don't like anyone that thinks that they're above others or thinks their shit doesn't stink. You know, I know I'm an idiot. I know I'm fat. I know that I can be touchy at times. I know that I can be emotional at times. I'm well aware of all of this stuff, but it's me, and that's who I am. And I love that you guys just accept that of me. So appreciate you. Oh, so I was getting so confused there, Fitz. I was there going, what Fitz falling out with me over now? I didn't realise at the start, mate, that you were talking with the director. I was thinking, jeez, we were getting on a minute ago. So, what am I supposed to tell you now? You've been writing nonsense for weeks about him going to Manchester City, even though he was at Liverpool. Ah. Well, then hopefully we beat them to the signing. So let's check back in. January, you gave me a fright there, mate. I was thinking, why have I fallen out with Fitz already? What's going on here? So let's get back and have a look at the poll. Woo, big difference. So we asked you a while ago, would you be happy with Xavi Simons? And 60% of you said no, 40% of you said yes. Would you be happy with Ray and Cherky? 71% said they would be. That's incredible. Wow. So 71% would prefer Cherky over Simons, and we'd still save about 40 odd million pound. That really has surprised me somewhat. I thought that would be similar. I thought maybe a 50-50 poll. So, wow. Huh. You guys have surprised me on that one, but thank you to everyone that voted. Genuinely surprised at that. Liverpool FC Vlog said, how good is Slot been in his first season? Imagine next season after he buys targets that suit his style of play more. Looking forward to it already. Number 21 next season. Kai Hunter said it's probably because he's cheaper and more versatile. Now you've got me thinking about bird's eye potato waffles. They're bird's eye potato waffles. They're waffly versatile. They go with eggs in, eggs on, bacon, lamb chopped, grill them, bake them, fry them, meat them. Bird's eye potato waffles. I'm showing my age there, mate. Sorry, I don't even know if that ad still exists, but I grew up with that ad pounded into my head, and belter of an ad as well. Now, it's no Accrington Stanley, who are they? But it's right up there. Grim Reaper said, Craig, did you know that the shirt number 30 has been unclaimed since 2014 by Suso? I did not know that. Somebody did post in our Discord a list of all the players who have worn number 30, but I didn't know that it had been unclaimed since 2014. There you go. What number will Frimpong take, said Dave. Number 30 is what was reported there today, mate. Number 30 is apparently the shirt number that he's going to take at Liverpool. Jerry Z said, surely Cherky is an FSG signing at that price, lads. But what's interesting is the chat had a choice, right, to take the 70 million or the 20 million, and went to the 20 million. I find that really interesting because I'm a little bit unsure on Cherky because it feels like there's a catch somewhere. You know, how could he be this cheap? Is it just a contract situation or is there something else? Now, he has said that he's going to be leaving this summer. It looks as if Spurs are in the mix for Cherky as well. Liverpool's name has been mentioned quite a bit. Now, I've never been able to really grasp how serious Liverpool's interest is when I've spoken with people. I've had a mixed response on it. Some people I've spoken with said, yeah, there is definitely interest there from Liverpool. Others felt like maybe Liverpool's name is just being used to garner interest. But knowing that the player wants to come to Liverpool and that we are his preferred choice, I'm not going to lie, that always helps with me. That wins me over full stop. If you have a player out there saying, I want to come and play for Liverpool Football Club, well, you're halfway to winning me over anyway. As an Irishman, were you offended by they can peel them with metal knives? I have no idea. I don't understand any of the context of that, Dave, mate. Sorry. As an Irishman, I don't really get offended by much, to be honest with you. When your best mates and your family grow up and you're all slagging each other and throwing the C word and all around, it takes quite a bit to offend us. CJV Edits said, hi Craig, didn't Bradley sign a 6-year deal? So I've seen mixed reports on it. The club always just say a long-term deal, but I've definitely seen 4 years mentioned elsewhere. Truth is, it could be 4, it could be 5, I don't know. I've just seen the club say long-term deal and others have said 4, but I wouldn't get too caught up on exactly how long the deal is. It's just good news that he's staying and he signed that new deal. That's what I take from it anyway. What's this one? Okay. Cool. Right, so give me another poll idea. So we've done Cherky, we've done Xavi Simons. Should we try Osimhen? Is Osimhen an interesting one? Will I ask what people think? Would you take Victor Osimhen? Or do you want me to put in a group of forwards, like let's say Osimhen, João Pedro, the lesser tiered ones? You know, again, Wirtz will be 100% yes. Or Isak could be 100% yes. Or close to it. You know, some of these polls are very, very obvious. You know, would you want Isak? I think most of us are going to say yes. Would you want Wirtz? If you said no, well, you need to go to the doctor and have something checked. AFCON, the only issue with Osimhen, certainly is an issue. We have Mohamed Salah heading off to the AFCON as well, but you know, it is what it is. Do a group. Okay, let's do a group. So give me forward names who are maybe the tier below your Alvarez, your Isak. So let's try work this one out together. So pick one to sign this summer. So I feel like João Pedro should be in that mix. Let's throw Osimhen in there as well. No, Ekitike will be in a higher bracket. The one I'm trying to do now is for like, if we brought in a Wirtz, who would be another option through the centre that would be in a lower price bracket. You know, I can do the more expensive one in a while if you want, but for now we're keeping it on the... oh, good shout. I like this one. AK King Cody's put in a belter of a list. So 1 second. Okay, I like that list, mate. Another option. Where was the list gone? So spell Osimhen for me, by the way. Somebody help me spell out Osimhen for me. Delap is going to go to Chelsea or United, so there's no point in putting him in there. There's no point in putting Cunha in there because he's not going either. He's going to go to United by the looks of it. There you go. Osimhen. Thank you. I always get confused on where the H goes in Osimhen. So I need one more. I need one more name on the list. So we've got João Pedro, Jonathan David, Osimhen. I need one more realistic name. Again, all the names you're throwing in there, Ekitike, Sesko, they're all above 70 million. This is the lower tiered bracket I'm trying to figure out. I need one more player for this lower tier bracket. And then we'll go into the upper tier, which is your Ekitikes, your Seskos, your Alvarezes. I need one more cheap name. Mbuemo won't be cheap either. Mbuemo, you're talking 65, 70 million. So I'm looking for 40 million or below. Eze, again, 65 million, his price tag. Plus he turns 27, I think, soon, doesn't he? So no point in sorting that one out. Strand Larson, Jesus. That'd be bleak, wouldn't it? So you know what? We'll just go with these three. We'll go with these three, and we'll see what people think. So João Pedro, Jonathan David, Victor Osimhen, and then we'll revisit. Look, in the top tier, we've done multiple polls for the top tier, and it's always come back to being Alvarez or Isak. They're the two people wanting, understandably so. Right, I have a couple of super chats I need to catch up on. So, Fitz said Cherki and Isak rather than all, but all out on Vert's thoughts. I believe 30 million for Cherki plus 100 million plus for Isak, 125 million Verts, probably a better way to spend the money. I would say Verts and Cherki would be an incredible couple of signings in either way. But again, I agree with what you said. If you brought in Cherki, I'd probably want a lot more spent on a centre forward. If you brought in Verts, I'd accept a 30, 40 million centre forward. How about Mateta at Palace? He's class. Again, Premier League to Premier League, you're not going to be talking low money. And that's what the whole point of this early poll was, for the lower money players. Watkins. Couldn't want Watkins now, though. 29? Watkins is too old to be coming in, surely. So, who's missing out? While you guys are voting on the poll, who's missing out on Champions League football? So, Arsenal have confirmed it. Liverpool have confirmed it. Man City, if they win the next game, that'll be them sorted. So, it looks like it's going to come down to a battle between Chelsea, Newcastle, Villa and Forest for those last couple of places. Who takes them? It's kind of a very interesting game at the City ground, obviously, between Nottingham Forest and Chelsea last game of the season. Forest won 2-1 away today at West Ham, so that pushes them a little bit back closer again. I was going to say it's a winner-take-all game, but there's still a way. If Forest win that game against Chelsea, they still might miss out on the Champions League. So who else misses out? I've got to say, I hope it is Chelsea that misses out. I don't want Chelsea in the Champions League because I want Todd Bowley's head to explode and figure out how we can spend another billion. Forest misses out, said Sinister. I'd love Forest, said Big Bond. Forest, sadly, or Villa, said Kev Parker. Newcastle, said Itachi. Definitely going to watch Chelsea Forest. You're not going to be watching Liverpool at that point, mate. Liverpool are playing at the same time, don't forget. If Newcastle don't, Isak should be available, said LFC Robbo. I think Newcastle, with a home game, last game of the season, will be alright. Who are they playing again? I can't remember who they're at home, I just can't remember who it is against off the top of my head. Chelsea and Forest draw each other out of the Champions League is my prediction. Wow. It looks like Forest are the real outside chance at this point. Villa have put themselves right back in the mix. Oh, Everton, thank you, Michael. Yes, they're playing Everton. Ooh, Everton under Moyes have been tricky. Oh, lads, this is going to be a very interesting last game of the season, isn't it? Wow. Nice. The Blue Shy. It's going to be a very interesting last day of the season. It's going to be some... well, we're obviously on the beach, so it won't really matter for us. But you want to put on a good display against Palace in the hangover derby, because Palace fans and all will be celebrating winning the FA Cup. Liverpool fans, of course, celebrating winning the Premier League. Arsenal fans celebrating something. You know, if it wasn't for those red cards and injuries, though, you know, poor old Mikel, poor old Arteta. Oh, diddums. Did we get to see the new home kit last game? No. It's a weird situation. Liverpool's deal with Adidas doesn't start until August the 1st. I think it was because of the way the court case went with New Balance and Nike that time. So, no, they can't even start selling them publicly till August the 1st. Now, they could pre-sell them, I'm sure, for the release on August the 1st, but no last game of the season shirt for us this year. It's going to be the Nike one. And that is shit, isn't it? Because it would have been nice to see it. Like, Arsenal wore their new home shirt today. And we usually do wear it in the last home game of the season. But no, it'll still be the Nike one. Cal said, buy Wirtz and Cherky, then loan Cherky out for a season. But what would be the point? Like, if it went well, then what? You still don't really have a place for him in the squad. And a player's not going to want to be bought to be farmed straight out on loan. You know, he has a pick of a few clubs at the minute. So let's say, for instance, he could come to a different Premier League club and play. I just think it's just no sense to that. Oh, Elliot. Actually, Elliot. Let's talk Elliot. More interest in Harvey Elliott. Do you know what the asking price is? According to reports for Elliott? £50 million. If Liverpool can get £50 million for Harvey Elliott, then that's incredible business. Because let's be honest, he's a player the manager doesn't seem to think will make it. Every Liverpool fan likes Elliott because he's a likeable young man, loves the football club. 50 million quid, that would be some business if Liverpool could get it. Wolves have been mentioned, Newcastle have been mentioned, but 50 million quid? Surely not. Surely nobody paid 50 million quid for him. Signing KERKEZ, Van de Ven, Wirtz and Isak, and I'm forgiven FSG. I always feel like Van de Ven was one that got away. I know he's been having horrible injury problems, but he feels like he could have fit in very nicely at Liverpool. KERKEZ looks like it's likely to happen. Wirtz and Isak, oh, come on now. There's no way we get both of them together. Sorry, Connor, I did miss your super chat, mate. My apologies. Georgie Mamardashvili to still come in as well. Yep. Absolutely. So Mamardashvili and Alisson will be the keepers for next season. Kelleher could be going to either Leeds, Aston Villa, or a host of other clubs. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where the preferences lie with regards to, do we get in one or two? So, like, let's say KERKEZ is the next here we go, as Romano said. Well, then we can't do another player until the 16th, until the window reopens again. Now, of course, you can agree all this stuff behind the scenes, but you just can't register the player. You can only register 2 players in this early part of the window between June 1st and June 10th. Then it closes for 6 days. Then it opens again, and you can sign as many as you want. But in the first part, maximum of 2 signings. So what do we think? Do we think we get players out the door quickly? So we've all been thinking about who's first through the door, and it's going to be Frimpong. But here's one. Who's first out the door? Who do you think Liverpool's first departure for a transfer fee is going to be? We know, obviously, Trent's leaving on a free. So who do we think is going to be the first one out the door? Darwin? Like, if the Saudi clubs move strong for Darwin, perhaps if they want him for the Club World Cup, maybe then. But other than that, I'm unsure who the first player we'll sell will be. If Elliott goes to Newcastle, Diaz to Barca, Gordon to Liverpool. So, Hugh, as soon as I seen those reports today about Barcelona and Luis Diaz, my mind immediately started drifting towards the idea of, would Liverpool revisit Anthony Gordon? And I don't know is the answer, but I can see how you've gotten to that thought process because I went down a similar rabbit hole earlier. So, Pasky said he thinks Kelleher will go first. Connor Mullen says Núñez, Sean Lester Núñez, Tanya Kelleher. Mark said Darwin, Colin Darwin. I hope it's Darwin. That would be a good one to get out of the way first, because then that would let us know there's going to be a big push on a centre forward as well. The Migro said double party at Anfield. Palace bring their cup too. For beating City, double parade vibes just for fun. What do you reckon? Yeah, and back to back guards of honour. They give us one, then we run around to give them one. And then we all just have a minute of silence for Manchester City and Arsenal seasons on the halfway line. Sounds like a winner to me. Defo. Let's all have a little nod for those clubs who did manage to win a trophy this season. Thinking of you, City. Thinking of you, Arsenal. Laughing at you. David Newell said, please be Nunez. My blood pressure can't stand no more of him. I can finally relax now when he's gone. I just want him gone as well. I want him gone, and I want the end of this Trent saga, because this Trent saga just feels like it's overshadowing so much of the good stuff at the end of the season. Would I take Endrick from Madrid? No, he's a little shithouse. No. And Madrid won't sell him. They did say they would be open to Rodrigo, but Madrid media have said in no uncertain terms Endrick is absolutely not for sale. Although, he just seems like a little shit, doesn't he? I remember when he came on against us, he just came on start. I think was it Canade? He went straight in and fouled. Right, let's check in on our poll. My God, you guys are voting fast today. It's only up a few minutes and we've already got over 1,100 votes. So, the question was, pick one to sign this summer. João Pedro, Jonathan David or Victor Osimhen. And will I leave it on a bit longer? Because it's closing in. But yeah, let's leave it go to 1,500 votes and see if it closes down a bit more. So keep voting away if you haven't. Sorry, I think I need to sneeze 1 second. Yeah, I think I've avoided it. Fitz said, could we buy Nico Williams for left wing if Lucho is to go? Don't know his plans, but believe he's only 50 million and very exciting. So a couple of things on Nico Williams. I think the release clause is 60 million euro, which is, in and about 50 million pound. He's on very high wages already at Bilbao, so I'm sure he'd want a bump up again. I think he's on about 250 grand a week at the minute at Athletic Club Bilbao. The only club that I've seen recently linked with him strongly is Bayern Munich, which would be a very good get from Bayern Munich. Arsenal's name has been mentioned in the past with Nico Williams, and there is some talk that maybe they're going to try to move on Martinelli and that they could look at Nico Williams. But I've not seen anything lately on Liverpool with him. No, just Bayern and Arsenal. But if we lost Diaz, then who knows who that left-wing target could be. Right, so we only need about 150 more votes to go. It's a close enough one, so it's a really interesting one. I love gauging your opinion on these things, so thank you to everyone that is voting. Stevie Boy said, any updates on Jota? Nothing. Zero. At this moment in time, I couldn't tell you if he's going to be sold or not. I've seen reports to suggest 2 or 3 clubs have looked at him, Newcastle being one of them, Wolves being one of them, but I don't know what Liverpool's stance is on it. And that's the part, I guess, is the most important in all of this, Stevie Boy. If Liverpool and Arne Slot, because he does look like he likes Jota. I get that buzz vibe off Arne Slot is that he does trust Diogo Jota. He's played him at times even when his form has been sketchy. So, no, I don't know. I would sell him, personally. I would sell him and Darwin and keep Diaz. But again, more and more links now about Diaz maybe being sold. So I'm a bit confused with regards to what to expect in the forward line. The only one I feel confident saying is Darwin's getting sold. But sure, that's no breaking news. Right, we're less than 100 votes out now from probably unveiling a surprise winner in this poll, to be honest with you, because my money would have been on a different answer from you guys. But yeah, again, that's 2 out of the 3 polls I've been very surprised at the answers of. Jason, I will get to your stuff about Trent today, mate. 1 second. I just want this poll to finish up. So you've said, what are your thoughts on the Trent stuff today? So the stuff, do you mean the party thing? AXA? That, nothing really. He paid for it himself. His cousin posting what she posted? Don't like it. No surprise for me to say that. You know, liking a post that again calls Liverpool fan victims is not a good look, and then calling somebody poor from being from Breck Road, I don't like that look at all. It's classless, and also, who the fuck are you? You know, not you, mate. I mean the cousin. Don't get it, but I'm just glad this situation is going to be dealt with and over with, because honestly, I feel like the last month has been all about Trent, and I've hated it because it's tainted the enjoyment of winning the league. And I can't speak for everybody else on that one, but for me, it definitely has made this last month feel shitty, because it's been Liverpool fans arguing with each other and then everybody else piling on. And I hate this. I don't care about the outsiders. The rest of the outside world can have their opinion. I couldn't give a shit. But I do hate seeing our own fans. And I've debated people about it. Like, I'm no innocent party in this at all. I've certainly had my fair share of debates with people about it. But I just can't wait for it to be over, because it's overshadowed a really great achievement. But what I will say is, well done to the club on the Frimpong aspect of it, because no sooner had Trent made his announcement and you could see that we moved quickly to get the Frimpong ball moving, to kind of wrestle back that positive PR, and I do appreciate the club doing that. Right, so we'll end the poll now. Pick one to sign this summer. The options were João Pedro, Jonathan David and Victor Osimhen, and after over 1,500 votes, 42%, so the most people went for João Pedro. And you know what? I agree. I thought it would have been Victor Osimhen that won that by a landslide, but I would take João Pedro over everybody else on that list myself, although I know people feel very strongly towards Victor Osimhen as well. So yeah, thank you for voting. Very interested. Thank you. I'm going to skip reading out the first part, if that's all right, mate, because I just feel weird saying stuff like that about myself. So, sorry I'm late. Cricket again. But we won, so happy days. Any chance when you're free, I can get a quick update on the news. The news today has been that Frimpong has done his medical. That's been reported. You know, there's mixed reports on whether it's all the medical that's been done or part of it, but either way, he's done some of the medical. Report he'll be wearing the number 30 shirt, 30. We then laughed a little bit about United having only picked up 9 points in the last 5 months in the Premier League. 9 points in 5 months. We spoke about... I'm just going back through some of the notes here, mate. Oh, the really interesting thing, though, came from Fabrizio Romano's post about Frimpong. So he put up the whole there. Frimpong has completed the first part of his medical as a Liverpool player. Dutch right-back will formally seal the move to Liverpool next week with a 5-year contract set to be signed. But the really interesting part of this, mate, was the next sentence and then who reacted to it. So Liverpool also want to add left-back to the squad this summer, with KERKEZ among the options on the list. Here we go, confirmed. And then, you see, circled by me here, Milos KERKEZ, like the post about Liverpool wanting him at left-back. Can't be a coincidence. He can't just keep wandering into Liverpool posts accidentally. Surely there's got to be something here. And that, my friends, is what I'm going to ask you next. So, I'm going to ask you, do you think KERKEZ is coming? Because I've gone back and forth on this. Sometimes I think 100% definitely nailed on, there's no surer thing than he'll be a Liverpool player. And then other times I get a little bit confused by it and think, are we cheaping out? Are we going to look at a Jarell Haddo? Are we going to look at a Knight-Nuri as an example? Anthony Robinson's name has been thrown in the mix as well. So I want KERKEZ, and I'm not going to lie. If it isn't KERKEZ, I'm going to feel underwhelmed no matter who the other left back is. Because I said before a phrase that if you went into a factory and you were to create a Liverpool manager from scratch with all the basic ingredients, it will come out looking somewhat like Jurgen Klopp, with the stylistic nature, the way he reacts with the fans, the way he just gets the city. If you were to go out there and find an Andy Robertson regen, youthful, to come in and play on the left side, it will come out looking a lot like Milos KERKEZ. So for me, he's tailor-made for us. Hate said games. Yes, sir. I did see it. I sent it to Connor and I circled it here in green highlighter just to make sure he's seen what part I was on about. But yeah, exciting stuff. And thank you, my man. Thank you. Osimhen is a special player. Do we know his price? Do you know what, mate? Fair play. I don't. I know Napoli are open to selling him quickly. But I would imagine you could probably get him for, I would say, less than 60 anyway. You know, somewhere. I don't know what his contract situation is, how long he has left on his Napoli deal, but I would imagine he'd be a realistic fee. He's just always banged at Chelsea to me, Victor Osimhen. I look at him and I could just see him in a Chelsea shirt. Leon Sampson, how are you, Leon? Said, I'm quite optimistic about KERKEZ. Midfield and front line, I'm more worried about. Midfield, I am baffled by. Genuinely, I've no idea what to expect there from a deeper line sense. I can see us maybe bringing in a Harvey Elliott replacement, a creator, but I'm absolutely hitting a brick wall trying to figure out if we're going to bring in somebody to compete with Ryan Gravenberch or to rotate with Ryan Gravenberch, or if we're going to see somebody like McConnell or Stefan Bajcetic or somebody like that be the competitor in there. Badger tits, by the way. That's if you ever hear us say the words badger tits and you're confused what we're talking about, somebody tried to write Bajcetic once in our chat and their auto-corrected them dirty and I had us all rolling around laughing. So that's what I mean if you ever hear me say it. I'm not trying to slag off the ladder at him. Craig, hope you're well. I am. I'm good, Carlos. Yeah, really, really enjoying life. I've been I had some health issues over the last while that I haven't really spoken to you guys about because, you know, you don't need me moaning on it about health stuff. But yeah, I've had some health problems that I was lacking in some stuff, and I've started taking some medication to help boost what I was lacking. And in the last 3-4 days in particular, I've started to feel a lot more energetic, a lot more with it. I've been very lethargic and stuff throughout the last few months, and I had to get blood tests and, you know, came back showing deficiencies in certain things that I had to resolve. And I think I'm starting to feel more like a normal human being again, which is good. So did I ever tell you guys that when we booked in the Liverpool shows initially, these ones, it was supposed to be my farewell show? I never told anyone that publicly, but when we booked the show in, the one on the right, the reunion show, that was going to be me saying bye-bye, good night, adios. I planned to just give up at the end of the season, and the reason I wanted Chris, Connor, Jack, Steve all together again was for that big goodbye, to kind of go full circle back to where we started all out. Because I didn't think my health was going to allow me to keep going on, because I've been really battling through a lot of fatigue, and it's just made me cranky at times. So I thought I was going to have to give it up, but now I'm feeling a bit better, and obviously I never had to make that announcement. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that one with you, though. That was supposed to be the plan initially. Have you seen KERKEZ liking posts about Frimpong to Liverpool? I have indeed, Harley, and it's got me very excited, my friend. You know, because it's not a coincidence, is it? He's not liking them by accident. Low testosterone levels. No, I've been lacking in vitamin B12. B12, mate. Testosterone, good. Blood pressure, good. Blood sugar levels, good. Hormone levels, good. Just, B12 deficiency. And it's, yeah. Long story, hard to get into, boring medical stuff, but hopefully I'm on the right track. Do you think KERKEZ is coming? Yes or no? I think we can end this one in a minute. It's overwhelmingly positive that people feel like we will be signing Milos KERKEZ. We already have a better player than KERKEZ. Do we? Who? If it's Robbo, I'll accept it. If the answer is Costas now, come on. Silly beggars now if it's Costas. But do we? So there's something we haven't spoken about, by the way. And it's kind of made me think a little bit over the last day or two. You know the way I like to put 2 and 2 together and come up with 73? We're all assuming that Bradley's going to be playing right back. Is there anything to suggest someone's moving to the left side, by the way? Like, let's say we brought in Frimpong. There's nothing to say Bradley couldn't get an opportunity on the left side every now and again. You know, maybe I'm looking too deep into this, but it's been something that's been at the back of my mind. Right, so we've had 1,000 votes. 88% said yes, they believe that we are going to sign KERKEZ. And I definitely would put myself in that 88% as well. KERKEZ is a cert. It's the centre-back that we'll need next. Right, so here's a question for you. One sec. Right. This one, again, I need your help on. Is Ibrahima Konate going to leave Liverpool this summer? Leave being the operative word. So, is he going to leave Liverpool this summer? Yes or no? Not what you want, what you think is going to happen. We all want him to stay, but I want to know what you think is going to happen. Because I would be in the camp at this point of thinking he's more likely to go than stay. Not based off inside information, not trying to make out like I'm some ITK on this, haven't got a Scooby-Doo. Just, again, can't get past why these conversations would stall so abruptly and not pick up again since October, November time when it looked very close. That has me really, really worried. And again, even over the last few days, you've seen the reports there's been no advancement in the situation. No breakthrough, no moving forward. That freaks me out, to be honest with you. It really does, because I thought Ibu enjoyed Liverpool. I hope he does, because the fans love him. He fits in at the club. He's my favourite ever announcement video when he came to the club. Like, without a doubt, that's been my favourite one by a mile. And yeah, I don't want to lose him. I don't. It would feel like all that time building that partnership with Virgil van Dijk, which has turned into one of the best in Europe. And look, I will say, I don't think he's the complete centre-back. There's certainly issues with his game that I would highlight occasionally, but I'd still definitely want him to stay. But hands on heart, I just get the feeling somebody's gotten in his ear. And, like, think of it this way. If you're a Liverpool Football Club, and I'm just throwing this number out there because I don't know the number, but let's say you were close on 150 grand a week or 160 grand a week offer, and that was close. If he then said, I want a lot more than that, I can see Liverpool saying no. So again, don't know why the conversation stopped, but it can only be for a handful of reasons. Either they wanted to listen to pitches from other clubs, they wanted to see how the contract negotiations went with Mohamed Salah and Virgil, they wanted to see what the club's transfer window was going to look like. I don't know. But none of them are things that shouldn't be revisited now. Like, Virgil's staying, Mo's staying, we know what Trent's doing, and we're showing we're going to do good stuff in the window. So, my fear is that Konate's camp have said, well, now we want 250. And Edwards and Liverpool have gone, no, you're not getting 250, you're not worth 250. And he's not. He isn't worth 250 grand a week. Now, the rumour was that he was asking for 200 grand a week. And if you were close on that, this is what has me worried. how all of a sudden are we going backwards? JG Days said, I think he'll leave for free next summer. He won't. And I'm going to tell you why. We have an ace up our sleeve on this one. If Canade tries to run down a deal, and again, we're talking in hypotheticals here, so I'm not trying to undermine Ibu, but if that was the pitch, then Liverpool's answer very simply has to be, well, you're going to be playing with the 21s this season, and best of luck getting in the France World Cup squad next year. So enjoy losing a year of your career playing with the 21s, but we're not getting rinsed of another transfer fee. So we either agree a transfer fee for you to move on this summer, or you don't go to the World Cup next year and you train with the 21s. And that has to be the angle. So I can't see any way that the club allow him to run down his deal. We've been bitten by that already this summer, and heads will explode if that was to happen again. So gotta have to play hardball if that was the case. It's not nice. It's not a nice thing to say, but you got to do what you got to do, and Liverpool have to look after their interests. Tipsy Dipsy said, wonder if Arsenal fans are going to join Tottenham's bus parade and singing North London forever. Who knows? Who knows, mate? They've just won the treble, though. So, 3 seasons in a row they finished second. Swear to God on Sky they actually said these words. So that's 3 seasons in a row now. Arteta has finished second with Arsenal. That's a feather in his cap. And I've thought, what? I'm sorry. That's a feather in his cap. Winning fuck all is a feather in his cap. Okay, fair enough. Weird. The love-in for Mr. Lego Man is insane. Fitz, Pierre Capier would be a great talent to come if they look to replace Canade. Healthy price tag, 50 million, 23 years old. Is he not more of a left-sided player, though? I know in the back three, I think Diamonde plays right, Ngapié plays left, and is it Coates plays through the centre? And that Lisbon back three? Or excuse me, in the... I'm getting confused again. I'm putting him in the wrong fucking team, sorry. But either way, he plays left side of a back three for Leverkusen, doesn't he, Ngapié? Where was I putting Diamonde in and then fucking Coates? Sorry, I'm confusing myself here. Doesn't he play left side of the Leverkusen back three? So, if we lost Canade, bringing in a left-sided, unless you want to push Virgil across to the right a bit, I don't know, but I'm almost certain he's a left-sided centre-back. Schlotterbeck's an interesting one, but isn't he left-footed? Schlotterbeck's a name that's been mentioned quite strongly with us, but isn't he left-footed? JG said, trust me, I completely agree with you, but our club transfer policy is crazy at times, so I think it all depends if we actually bring in a centre-back. Yeah, I mean, there could be a world where Liverpool just think, right, well, we can't get the centre-back we want, and we can write off Canade's transfer fee. I mean, it would be another horrific bit of business by the club, but you never know, mate. Yeah, maybe if they feel like there's nothing they can do to bring somebody in now, fair enough, but again, we still have to revisit the situation with Kwanzaa because I think he could be sold. Can you bring in Harvey, Craig? We had a great season, great extensions and signings. For Matip was picked before Canade. Can I bring in Harvey and Watson the dog? No, he's gone out for a walk, I think, with Sabrina. Bring Harvey Elliott into the conversation, absolutely, if that's what you'd like to do, my man. Seen a couple of links again to him with Wolves, but apparently Liverpool's asking price for Elliott's 50 million. Ooh, wow. Again, you've surprised me with the poll. So I asked, is Canade going to leave Liverpool this summer? We've already over 1,000 votes on it. I'm going to let it go to 1,500, but the result is surprising me. Again, you guys are very interested this evening. So is Canade going to leave Liverpool this summer? Yes or no? So far, the no's are winning. So people think he's going to stay. I would very firmly believe he's going to leave this summer as things stand. That would be my guess, but interesting. Do keep voting on it and we'll see if that gap closes. I'm Ron, said Jonathan. Ta is in on the left side, is he? Left footed but plays right centre back, said Muckrab. Well, if we look, Schlotterbeck's a name that's been mentioned, definitely. You know, I don't. That's no breaking news to anyone. Nico Schlotterbeck's name has been mentioned with Liverpool for a while. Hincapie's name I haven't really heard at all. Yeah, the only time I remember him was last summer, but I haven't really seen him much lately. One more poll after this one, by the way, and I want to ask you on Kwanzaa, so bear with me. So keep voting. We've got 1,150 votes on this one. Is Canada going to leave this summer, yes or no? And when we get 1,500, we'll get into the Kwanzaa poll, because I'm interested in your thoughts on Jarell Kwanzaa's future. And not will he stay or go. I want to know if you think he's good enough. Fitz said poll for centre-back signings. I honestly wouldn't know who to put in it, because I don't know who's realistic or even who we're trying to replace yet. You know, I wanted Hoyson. He was going to be the guy for me. He was the number one target. After him, you're probably getting into the realms of, do you try to convince Mark Gay to come in? You know, but if he wants to go to Real or Barca and run a deal down, not sure. Jonathan Ta, is he not going to Munich in the end? I thought he was nailed on to go to Bayern Munich, but I haven't paid much attention to that since. Hincapie, again, yeah, are that Leverkusen team going to be broken up entirely? Potentially. There's the guy from Arujo from Benfica. There's the guy from Bologna, that their centre back as well. He's been mentioned in recent weeks. Liverpool Prophet said, what could we say, Craig? We're just full of surprises. You really are. Because especially on this one, I genuinely am surprised. Right, well, let's end that poll then. So 56% of you guys think Canada stays this summer. I love your optimism. So, different question this time. So, should we sell Kwanzaa? Let me know. And by that, I'm basically asking, do you think Kwanzaa's good enough to stay and make it at Liverpool? Because I'm very much in the no camp on Kwanzaa. I don't think the manager trusts him. And I've been saying, going back 3-4 months, that I think Kwanzaa's going to be sold this summer. And I think if you look at the season, you haven't really seen Arne Slot trusting him. You know, he started the first game, was pulled off at half-time because he was losing his duels. And then we've only seen fleeting glimpses of him. Some at right back, some at centre back, but not really much trust being put on him by Arne. And honestly, I feel like Arne doesn't trust him. And I think that he thinks that we could make a nice profit on him. Newcastle have been interested, as are clubs in Germany, according to some other reports. And I'm not saying 100% my opinion's right on this, by the way. My own view of it is I think he's too inconsistent. And I know he's young, so I do take that on board. But I just think he's too shaky. When he looks good, he looks really good. But the thing that clinched it for me was listening to some pundits talking the other day. And I think the way they summarised it was, the fairest way that they could describe the Kwanzaa situation is he's regressed from the first season he broke through. And I think that's a fair statement to say, that he hasn't really pushed on this year. So when you get into the first team and you break through like that, he had an incredible first bit of that campaign, first bit of last season when he was brought in towards the end of it. Incredible. And we're all thought, oh, hello, Rolls Royce here. But he hasn't really kicked on this season. And that does concern me. And I think seemingly concerns Arne Slot as well. Funky Fish, thank you, my man. You know, as I'm getting older, I'm going to have to start looking after myself a little bit better on that. 7 years, by the way, as a channel last month. 7 years we've been going now as a channel, which is incredible. And this month we hit 10 million views, as I mentioned earlier, for the first time ever in a month. So happy to be here with you all and share this all with you. Exciting weeks upcoming. Frimpong's just the start. Yeah, it's a brilliant start to the window. I'm buzzing. I am. I'm really, really happy with that start to the window. And I'm just happy we wrestled back the narrative to good news stories from the whole Trent debacle. Abdullah said, Craig, do you think he stays but leaves in January for a fee because we couldn't find an agreement? Now, if it got to January, I think he's in the box seat again, mate, and he just runs it down. January's a difficult market at the best of times to bring somebody in. And if you look at it from Arna's perspective, he wants players fully versed and up to his system. So if we had to replace in January, you wouldn't be expecting a centre back to come in and be Arna to be trusting him straight away. Ryan said, I'd sell assuming we then sign 2 centre backs. That's exactly where I'm at, Ryan. I agree with you, mate. I'd sell Kwanzaa assuming, like yourself, that we had to bring in 2 centre backs. I think that's where I'm at with it as well. I think Kwanzaa deserves another year. He's quality, said Harry. Appreciate your perspective as well, Harry. Thank you. I'm open to everyone's view on this. You know, my own take is just trying to read Arne Slot's. Just looking at Slot, I don't get the idea that he fancies the idea of Kwanzaa being around. And you've seen a lot of stuff as well saying, multiple clubs are in for him. And again, sorry, I can't believe I forgot to mention this again. But I was watching David Ornstein on Sky. What day is it today? Sunday. I think Wednesday maybe. And he said that expect Kwanzaa to be sold. He said it in a sentence, and I rewound back to TV because I thought I wanted to make sure I wasn't misquoting. And he said something along the lines of expect Kwanzaa to go as well. And it's on one of the podcasts, so you can go and have a listen to it for yourself, one of the back pages tonight. But once Ornstein had said that as well, it made me feel even more likely that I think Kwanzaa will go this summer. Right. Let's check. Ooh. Interesting results on the poll so far. Do keep voting away. We've got about 10 or 15 minutes left in tonight's stream, so do lash in anything that you guys want to discuss as well. Right, what have we got? The Liverpool Prophet said, don't think players like Kwanzaa, Elliott, Jones are bad, but definitely upgradable. Again, I agree. Jones has pushed on this year. I'll give Jones his credit. He certainly looks far more settled with Arne Slot than he did previously. What's this Mark sent me? Okay, so this coming from Kicker about Florian Wirtz. It said, Wirtz has not made a decision on which club he wants to join yet, but Bayern are not in as clear of a pole position as recent reports suggest. One of the 2 English clubs, Man City or Liverpool, is said to be in a very good position and has high hopes of winning the race. Wirtz has all the information he needs to make a decision in the near future. Only when this has happened will the chosen club make an offer, especially since the price is clear, €150 million. So there we go. A little bit of a fresh development there. So Bayern aren't in as strong a position maybe as they felt. They don't go into detail of which of the 2 English clubs they feel are feeling very confident about it, but there was reports to say Liverpool feel upbeat about the chances. €150 million though. I would dare to say that any of the 3 clubs are going to try and knock that price down. And I totally agree with what they've said about not bidding until you know a player wants to come. That's usually the case. You usually want to get a nod from a player before you start throwing in bids. Unless you're dealing with Caicedo, in which case we apparently just throw in bids. We must have got some encouragement there though. £150 million, that's about 127 million pounds sterling. We've got a lot of information coming up on the late night video, by the way. We didn't put out an earlier video today, so we do have stuff coming out that I will record about 10:30, so keep an eye out for that one dropping. He's going to join Alonso. Wirtz? No, he's not. He's not going to Madrid. That isn't going to happen. They don't have the space. They won't have the money, and they don't need him. So honestly, I think of all the things we could talk about, Wirtz going over to Madrid, not going to happen. Fitz said, 150 million, that's steep. A swap deal can knock that down. I don't know who we'd be sending across the other way, but look, I can only go back to what we said yesterday. Let me read this out to you again. Was it this one? No. 1 second. I want to, because it was very clear. Was it this one? Or this one? So yeah, Lewis Steele said, the money is there for Liverpool to sign Florian Wirtz. And that's been backed up by a lot of, even I think the Echo were like upbeat on that. If he shows an indication that he would like to move to Liverpool, the money is there. I've not really seen anybody say the money isn't there from, in all honesty. So rather than singling out individual outlets, I think it's just fairer to say everybody feels that if he makes the indication that he wants to come to Liverpool, the money's there to sign him. You know, it would be very much against the norm for us, but there has to be something to it if everybody is feeling the same way. Right, we are now at 1,000 votes in the should we sell Jarell Quansah, and 64% of people think yes, Liverpool should sell Jarell Quansah. And I would put myself in that 64, but I would agree with our friend a moment ago. If we sold him, we need 2 centre-backs. That's what I'd be saying. Is he really worth 150 mil? Well, that is in euros, Mark, but it's still 127 million pound. Is he worth it? I mean, I would say he's worth 127 million pound more than Isak's worth 150 million pound. But are either of them really worth the money? I'd want it to be a bit cheaper, but ultimately I do think he's a special player. Like if he signed for Manchester City, I'd be very, very concerned that they're going to start picking up a lot more trophies again. But if we got him, I would say then you're talking about pushing us back into that favourites bracket for not just retaining the Premier League, but maybe even going out and winning all big ears again and getting number 7. But yeah, if it is a hefty fee, and I can understand a lot of people, you know, widening their eyes when they see 150 million euro being mentioned. It's a huge number. Wirtz to Villa. They don't have the money. I see you're a Villa fan there, mate. And much love to you, but don't have the money for Wirtz with the old way PSR is for Villa. Interested though on Villa fan there in the chat, if you'd be so kind, mate, just to respond to this one. Lots of chatter about Caoimhín Kelleher to Aston Villa. If Emmy departs this summer, love to get your take on that one. Understand the European homegrown status. That's neither a question nor a statement. I don't know where you're going with it. You know, yeah, sorry, man. I don't know where you want me to go with that one. With regards to Frimpong, by the way, he will count as homegrown for us, so that will work well. And again, if you want me to just recap, if you want to have a full 25-man Premier League squad, then 17 of those players at most can be non-homegrown players, and 8 minimum should be fully homegrown players if you want that full 25-man squad. And Frimpong, as I mentioned, he is homegrown because he spent 9 years at Manchester City's academy before he departed. And I wonder, as our friend there just said, Frankie, we've got Agent Frimpong. I wonder if Frimpong is in his ear. FE1 said, personally, Kelleher is class, but we have the world's best keeper, and if we sell him, be 70 million plus. Look, jokes aside, he's not even fit to lace Alisson Becker's boots. He's a good keeper, Emi Martinez, but it looks like he's leaving this summer. So I'm only telling you what I've seen reported. You're the Villa fan, you probably know more than me about it, but In no world is Emi Martinez the world's best goalkeeper, mate. In absolutely no world. He's not even top 5, in my opinion, but certainly a good keeper. I'll give you that one. Craig, would you prefer Florian Wirtz going to City or Madrid? Madrid, obviously. Outside of the Premier League. I don't want Madrid to be strengthened at all with anyone, but I certainly don't want the Premier League rivals being strengthened right in front of us. So yeah, I'd always say a player to move outside of the Premier League if it's a player like that could do serious damage to us. Excited to see Frimpong, said Project Lunar. 50p Skiller said Frimpong is in a slot system will be better defender than Trent. It's interesting because all the reports today have said that Bradley is the right back for next season. Bradley's going in as the first choice right back. So that intrigues me to see what we are going to be doing with Frimpong, but no doubt he's coming in. Do the 3 teams going from the Championship go straight back down? Personally, I think so. I don't think Leeds go back down, for what it's worth. I think they'd have learned lessons from the past. I think they will understand they've been more pragmatic this time in the Premier League when you come up. You need to settle in. So you don't come up and think you go and play the same football that got you up out of the Championship. You need to be more pragmatic defensively when you come up to the Premier League. We've seen back-to-back seasons now where the 3 that have come up have gone straight back down. Burnley, I do expect to go back down. Whoever wins the playoff, probably going back down, in all honesty. But Leeds, I do think Leeds will stay up. I think they will. Yeah, I do. I think they will. I think because of the whole Red Bull factor as well behind them now, and the fact that they don't want to yo-yo anymore, I can see Leeds making a big push and being very strategic in the type of players they bring in. Samuel Brumwell, thank you for joining Anfield Agenda FC, bro. Appreciate you. Fitz said, swap deal, Harvey Elliott, Jones, and add a little money for Wirtz. I don't think Curtis Jones is going to want to depart Liverpool. And Elliott, I've no idea where he ends up if he leaves. I don't want him to leave, but it just feels like he is going to leave because Arne Slot apparently doesn't think he's worthy of game time. So, yeah. And look, again, that's just reading from what we've seen this season with Elliott, but 50 million quid, if we could get it, would be some deal to get for Elliott. Right, ladies and gents, my voice is going to start going soon. I can feel it getting a bit raspy. So I'm going to say goodnight to everyone. Going to record that news video. It'll be out in about 15-20 minutes. We will be here tomorrow, same time, same place. I hope to see you 8:45 tomorrow night for the late night agenda. We'll have a news video coming out as well. Remember, we've just got 1 week to go now until our live shows in Liverpool. So if you want to come and see us, you can get your tickets with the QR code on the screen. And again, I want to say a big thank you to everybody for their support today. It means a lot to us on a day that we hit 10 million views in a month as well. Thank you so much for all of your support. I hope you all have a lovely Sunday night ahead, and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Much love. Bye-bye.